Alright, I got some more old school monsters. The Jin or Jinny have 7 hit dice plus 3 hit points. They are from the aerial plane. They have 1 chance of granting 3 wishes, because they have to put that in there. They can be captured and put into service. They have powerful whirlwind abilities. There's a dog, a dolphin. Doppelganger has 4 hit dice. Shape changers, they have good saves. They take the form of items and equipment as well as flesh. Dragons. There are 10 species of dragons, very young to ancient, of course. They have an aura of fear, good senses. There's rules for sleeping dragons in their lair. There's rules for attacking and subduing dragons. Goes into a little bit about the smog effect, where they all have greed and pride, and those are their weaknesses. Black dragons have 6 to 8 hit dice. Live in swamps, marshes, and lairs, and they have an acid spit line and spells and spell-like abilities. Blue dragon, 8 to 10 hit dice. They live in deserts, arid land, caverns. They have lightning for breath and a line and spells. Brass dragons have 6 to 8 hit dice. Sandy deserts. They love to talk. Um, they have an ability that has like sleep or fear in their breath, which is gas. Of course, they have spells. Bronze dragon, 8 to 10 hit points. They like lairs near water. They have a repulsion gas, which is kind of neat, or lightning. Um, and that's their breath weapon. And they, of course, have spells. Chromatic dragon, which is which is Tiamat. 16 hit dice. She's basically the queen, the ruler in hell of the dragons. She has 5 heads. Stings with her tail. She has white, black, green, blue, and red heads. Not somebody you want to bump into. And they have the same corresponding breath weapons as the dragons do. If she takes too much damage, she goes back to hell, but she doesn't die. She has 5 male consort dragons in her lair, so not only would you have to deal with her, but you would have to deal with her boyfriends. Copper dragons have 7 to 9 hit dice. They like arid, rocky land. They have acid or slow, a gas breath that makes you slowed, and of course spells. Gold dragon, 10 to 12 hit dice. They like caves and castles. They eat jewels and pearls. So I guess their lair just shrinks in value as the years go by. Powerful polymorph ability. They have a fire or chlorine gas breath weapon. Chlorine gas sounds nasty. And they have spells. Green dragon, 7 to 9 hit dice. They live underground in their lairs or near forests. Poison, chlorine gas, breath weapon, and magic. Man, the chlorine gas, I'm telling you, it just sounds terrible. A platinum dragon, which is Bahamut, if I'm pronouncing that right. 21 hit dice. He's the king of good dragons. He takes human form a lot. He has a cold or vapor that turns into a gaseous form, or disintegrating sonic vibration. So this guy opens his mouth and distortion comes out. Spells, and he has 7 gold dragons as guards in his lair. So again, you don't really want to bump into him if you're a bunch of evil people. The red dragon, good old Smog, 9 to 11 hit dice. He likes to live in the hills or mountains, or a lonely mountain, for instance. He's the worst of the chromatic dragons, other than Tiamat, of course. Fire breath and lots of spells. Silver dragon, 9 to 11 hit dice. They like to live in mountains. They also like taking human form. They have frost or paralyzing breath and spells. White dragon, 5 to 7 hit dice. Cold locales. They have a cone of cold, breath weapon, and spells. The dragon, which is 9 hit dice. It's a brass dragon / lion combination. I would have hated to be around when those two got together. Their roar gives weakness and or fear. Dragon turtle. I've always liked the dragon turtle. He's my buddy. I just like the idea of just this giant ass turtle that's out there that can just destroy you. 12 to 14 hit dice. They have a scalding steam breath. A very large shell, and they can capsize vessels. And I can't help but think of the Never-Ending Story with the giant, giant turtle that has a split personality disorder, and yeah, that makes me think of that every time I read that. Dryad, 2 hit dice, beautiful tree sprites, charm person. They're part of the landscape, and they abduct you for years if you fail your saving throw. So yeah, they're pretty, and then they just totally hose you over. There's a bunch of dwarfs that are listed. Yeah, you really don't. I don't know. I'm not going to go into those. There's giant eagles. I don't know. Maybe I should show you some more art. A lot of these dragon illustrations are kind of cool. They're pictures of dragons. Some of them are better than others. What else we got in here? Yeah, I mean, some of them are pretty cool. What else we got next? We have ear seekers. These should give you nightmares. 1 hit point. Insects crawl inside your ears to lay eggs, and you have to have cure disease cast on you, or the larva eats your frickin' brain. There's eels. The Ifrit or Afridi, 10 hit dice. They're from the plane of fire. They're enemies of the Jinn, the Jinni. They can give 3 wishes or serve, and they have spells. Elementals, they're basically strong but stupid, and there's lots of rules. Well, there's some rules on summoning them. I'm not going to really go into it, but they're the air, earth, fire, and water elemental. And they get different abilities if it's close to their element, or if they're standing on, if they're earth elemental or you're standing on the ground. There's elephants. There's elf, and they go through some different subclasses of elf: aquatic, drow, gray, half elf, and wood elf. The Etten, 10 hit dice. Says they're closely related to orcs, which is that was a different little take on that I didn't expect. The right head controls the right arm, the left head controls the left arm. And the legs are the same. The Floating Eye has 1 to 4 hit points, and it's a fish with a hypnotic gaze. It kind of looks like sort of like a tuna. Eye of the Deep, which is 10 to 12 hit dice. It's a relative of the beholder. Lives in the deep sea. Has pincers, kind of like a crab. Its eye stuns and dazzles, and it has lots of spell-like abilities. Let's see if Eye of the Deep. Eye of the Deep is pretty cool. We also have this illustration on the other page. And Mr. Eye of the Deep up there with his little pincers. Great artwork. These videos might go on for a while. There's a flightless bird, a frog giant. Well, I think it's a giant frog. There's violet fungi, which have 3 hit dice, and they rot flesh by touching. And they hang out with a bunch of shriekers, which are also fungus. There's the gar, which is a giant fish. Gargoyle, which have 4 hit dice plus 4 hit points. They like to torture their prey to death, which is always fun. There's the gas spore, which has 1 hit point. It looks like a beholder, but it explodes when you hit it. So you think you're killing a beholder, and you just end up hitting a bomb, pretty much. Gelatinous cube, 4 hit dice, kind of transparent, difficult to see, lots of treasure and equipment in them, paralyzation if you touch it, and then they engulf you and digest you. Except for your weapons, which are nice because if you kill them, then they're basically just a walking equipment list. Ghast, which are 4 hit dice, they look like ghouls, except they have a really horrible stench. Ghost, which have 10 hit dice. Sight ages you 10 years. And no messing around. And you flee. If you don't save, it kills you. And then you're forever dead. You can't be regenerated when you see this thing. And a ghoul, he has 2 hit dice and paralysis ability. And then we start going into the giants. There's 6 races of giants, and I'm going to go into them in the next video.